Hey everyone, welcome back to Family Canning in the Silk. It has been a while since we've done a video. As you know, we've had a very rough year. Didn't get much garden planted. All due to my mom having a very serious, severe, and rare stroke. We lost my mom June 5th of this year. And just haven't quite been in the swing of doing any canning. That and us taking care of my dad now. All my siblings are taking turns staying with him, so it leaves little time. I can't, she can do a lot of the canning, but I don't want her doing it by herself. I want to be involved with it too. Of course, our other kids, they're not here. They're doing some things that they can't be doing right now to help us, but that time's coming. We'll be doing a lot more canning here soon, hopefully. Hopefully we can get some more done, but I've been promising y'all my famous ranch beans. Well, here we go. I start out with these big cans of bush beans, bush baked beans that has the onion and bacon in them. Green label. I've got 8 of them. And for eight of those cans, I'll put 4 pounds of hamburger, and I'll cook up 4 pounds of bacon. I've got 5 small to medium sized onions, white onions chopped up. And I've got 8 medium sized bell peppers chopped up. And what I'll do is I'll saute that while I'm doing my bacon. I'll fry all my bacon up, then I'll pull it off and let it drain. And paper towel soak up as much grease as can. And then I'm gonna put the hamburger meat over in the bacon grease and fry up the hamburger meat. Then I'll do the same thing with it. I'll drain all the grease off of it, get as much of the grease off of it as I can before I start mixing everything together for the beans. Like I said, this is my famous ranch beans. I'll also be putting in more brown sugar. And I learned this when I was in the Boy Scouts some 500 years ago when dinosaurs were still roaming the earth. But my Boy Scout leader is the one who taught me this. And this is the trick to it. This is the secret. Syrup. Syrup is what gives it the unique flavor. This is based off what he told me. This is pretty much what the cowboys back in the day when they had their, what was the guy, the chuck wagon dude, the cook, whatever he was. This is pretty much their everyday meal.
And it is a meal in its own.
And it is. It's a meal in its own because you've got your vegetables, onions, bell peppers,
Your beans.
your beans. So there's 3 vegetables right there, and then your meats. So it really is. It's a meal on its own. I usually just do these, or I was just doing before we actually canned them for the first time last year. I only made these at special occasions.
Holidays. Family gatherings.
Everybody wanted my beans.
And his Uncle Mac, who also passed away this year, this was one of his favorite things. He always wanted Don's ranch beans.
So I always had, when I canned up some last year, I carried him some quarts over, and he called me and said, "Man, I really appreciate the beans." He said, "But could you do me a favor?" I said, "What's that, Uncle Mac?" He said, "Can you do them in pints for me?" He said, "Because there's no way I can eat that whole quart, and I don't want them to ruin." So the next time I did some, I made him a couple of pints. But since then, of course, my Uncle Mac passed away right before my mom passed. So, still got my Aunt KK to think about. I'll send her some of these beans over to her. But like I said, we've already got everything chopped up. We're gonna start frying everything up. I know y'all don't wanna watch us frying bacon. You know how to fry bacon.
We'll show you the process.
You know how to fry your hamburger, but once we get everything going and you know how to saute. All I'm gonna do is put this in a big stock pot and start sauteing it on slow with a very little bit of butter, not much butter.
And if you don't have one of these, you can get them at Walmart or wherever. It cuts your chopping time in half.
A little faster than that, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, it's very quickly, so it chops everything up for you, and especially when you're doing this much bulk,
But
you're not standing there doing it.
that's it in a nutshell. Like I said, we're gonna start cooking up the bacon, then we'll cook up the hamburger meat while I'm sauteing onions. And once the onions and stuff is sauteed, I'll open up every one of those cans. Now I'll show you. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start dumping the cans and on top of the sauteed onions and stuff and just let it start simmering together a little bit. And as I cook everything else, the bacon, once the bacon has cooled off enough that I can handle it, I'll break it up into small pieces, throw it over in the stock pot. Same thing with the ground beef. Once I've got all that in my stock pot, then I start adding my brown sugar and my syrup, and I taste it as I go. Once I get that taste I'm looking for, I stop. Now, you can do anything you want to with this. You can change it up. If you want it sweet, add a whole lot of brown sugar and a whole lot of syrup.
We taste test as we go, so we do not have exact measurements of the syrup and the brown sugar.
No, because we
That's
taste as we
just to
go.
taste.
This is something that you can do on your own. You can, if you like it to be sweet, like I said, this was, according to my Boy Scout leader, this is what the cowboys ate. You know, they worked from sun up to sundown, so they needed that energy. Well, what provides you energy?
Sugar and caffeine.
That and protein. So, you know, that's just it in a nutshell. This is for providing you a lot of energy. Some of my kin folks and friends like it really sweet. Some of our family and kin and friends don't. So I try to find a happy medium in the middle somewhere. Don't always hit it. Sometimes I get it a little too sweet, which I'm a sweet fanatic. She's not. But again, you try this, you can change it up however you want to do it. This is just what I was taught 500 years ago when the dinosaurs were still roaming. And
I wasn't around.
been doing it ever since. Yes, you was. Yes, you was. But I've been doing this ever since he taught me this, and I have thoroughly always enjoyed this meal because it really is. It's a meal in itself because you've got everything that you would have in a meal: meats, vegetables,
And your syrup group.
and your syrup group. All right, well, we're gonna start cooking up the bacon and stuff and get this sauteing, and when we get ready to start adding everything into the stock pot, we'll bring you back. We'll see y'all then. Welcome back, everybody. I'm fixing to fry up the hamburger meat. There's the 4 pounds of bacon.
Yum.
Yum. I took out a lot of the bacon grease, which we keep. We use it for cooking and stuff. But I left a good bit in there to cook up the hamburger meat. And this is 90-20?
Yes. No, 90-10.
I'm sorry, yeah, 90-10.
And we get all of our meat from Country Pleasing in bulk, and then we freeze it. Seal it in bags and freeze it, and that way we get a better deal. And it's cheaper.
And that's 4 pounds of ground beef.
It's warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's warm in here.
Once I've browned this, I'll put it over in a colander.
Oops. See if I can get
I'll
it.
let as much of the grease run off of it as I possibly can. Then I'll run water over it. And you'll notice I'm not adding any seasoning to this. This is just straight up hamburger meat.
And it's 90-10, so it has less fat than your
but it's gonna have a lot of bacon in it.
Yep.
So that's gonna actually season the meat. But for canning purposes, I'll rinse it with water.
So once that's done, we will be back.
Everybody, as you can see, I've got the onions and the bell pepper sauteing, and they're ready. I've got all 8 cans already open. I'm fixing to start dumping those in. I dump in 1 can. I'm gonna give it a quick little stir. Then I'll dump in another can.
I'm gonna come around this way.
Huh?
I'm gonna come around this way. Let it go on. So what we're trying to show you on the next few videos, it doesn't have to be peak produce time to can. We'll do a lot of canning in the winter because our business is slower, and also the kitchen doesn't get as hot. So we'll do a lot of wintertime canning versus summertime canning this year. And this is one of those that you could make year round. And we're gonna attempt to make our own baked beans in the near future. He's so excited. Let's see how it looks. I can't see. Looking good, honey.
You'll be getting better at it. It's simmered for a while.
The puppies think it smells good.
Yeah, they always come and they smell something cooking in the
There's
kitchen.
Sky. Where are you? Sky. There's Aragon and Sky. That's 2 of our 9 dogs. Now that I probably made y'all dizzy.
Last can of beans.
Y'all have to understand I'm 5'2", so this is a stretch for me. And I'm actually gonna flip this, or can I? Nope. Sorry, guys.
4 pounds shredded bacon. You know, anything you put bacon in is good.
Yep. I'm shaking. Alright, I'm gonna pause this for a second and flip it around so it's easier for me. Be right back. Much easier.
4 pounds of drained and rinsed hamburger meat.
That is ground chuck though, so
Yep.
again, we got that at Country Pleasing. And this is actually one of our canning pots that we do water bath canning in.
Here goes stock pot. We have 2 of them.
We got these at Sam's.
Yep.
They're huge.
Syrup. I'm just gonna put about half this bottle in right now. Because you understand, look over in there and you'll see how much is in, how much bean, meat and stuff is in there.
Okay. We'll post the recipe, but this is kind of one of those, you just make it to where you like it. Colors. And you cook the onion and bell pepper in olive oil?
No, a little bit of butter.
Butter. The scissors are, I used them to put the hamburger meat. Hang on, we're trying to find the scissors. They're always disappointing.
They're doing more than this here.
Be right back. Okay.
I'm gonna add just a little bit of brown sugar for right now, not a lot. Like I said, then I'm gonna let this simmer for a while. Then we'll start doing taste test. But as it cooks down, it'll create a whole lot more liquid too. The liquid coming out of the onion, the liquid coming out of the bell peppers. It won't be this thick. You got to understand, this is a lot of food right here.
I'm interested to see how many quarts we get out of it, or pints, or whatever we're in can. Oh, whatever.
I'm gonna bump the heat up just a little bit. We'll cover it.
We'll be back and show you the progress in a little while.
Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I'm in a different shirt. Wife's in a different shirt. Another day has gone by. We kind of got busy with our business yesterday, so we just let things simmer for a little while, and then we let them cool overnight. Put them back on this morning so we get ready to can everything. We've got jars in the oven. I've got it at 250 degrees. I'm doing quarts. With it being meat, we'll go 90 minutes in the quarts in the pressure canner. We'll wipe the rim down with some distilled white vinegar to cut the fat down. If we get any fat down on the top of the fat down. I cannot talk today. Get any fat on the top of the jars.
So you can get a good seal.
So we can get a good seal. Like I told you, the last thing you saw yesterday was when I was adding the brown sugar and how thick it was, just to show you that it produces more liquid like I was telling you. It produces more liquid.
And I wish there was smell-o-vision, because this smells heavy.
Yeah, I wish y'all could smell it too, because I can promise you, if you do decide to make this and try it, like I said, you won't want to eat any other kind of baked beans. I promise you. But we're going to start taking jars out. Like I said, I've got them in the oven. We're going to start filling everything up. I've got the pressure canner already warming up with water. Lid's over there getting warm. We've got our ring set out. We've got our vinegar set out to wipe everything down. We've got all our tools ready to go. Only thing we don't have is the jars, and the jars filled. Now I have a mixture of regular mouth and wide mouth. It don't really matter.
You're gonna leave about a 1-inch headspace on these. Oh, I wish y'all could smell this. It's heavenly. So again, if you're new to canning, Get you a handy dandy tool that comes with most of the canning kits you can get. I don't know if you can see this. Put my glasses on. So this is your 1 inch space here. You're gonna put it inside the jar. And what you wanna do is make sure that your product does not hit the bottom of this. So that's right at 1 inch headspace. It's also at the bottom of the rim here. So once you get this on, grab another paper towel. Vinegar. Wipe the rim good, otherwise you're not going to get that great of a seal. This was my grandma's pot. This pot is older than I am. Take your lid, put it on your jar. The ring, fingertip tight. No tighter than that, especially when you're going into a pressure canner. So we're gonna finish filling these, and we'll be back in just a little while to show you the process of putting them into the pressure canner. Anything you wanna add?
Nope, just wanna get these things filled up.
We'll see you in a little bit.
We've got the canners ready to roll. Fixing to put the lids on the canners and get everything rock and rolling. As you see, we've got 2 canners going. I've got an All-American 925 and an All-American 921. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, 921. I think that's that's the smallest one they make, I think.
That's the first one we started out
Yeah,
with.
that was the very first one. That was the second one. And we've got the monster up there, the 941. But get everything rocking and rolling. 925, here's the lid for it. I take olive oil.
Oh, and by the way, we ended up with 12 quarts out of that. So that's why we had to get the second canner out.
I take olive oil. You can see this right here. See that little indentation? That's where your seal is created. And all I do is I wipe around that with the oil. Then I come over to my canner, and you'll see if you get one, it's got a slight little angle right at the lip also. And I wipe that down with oil. Now my jars are starting to boil inside here, so I really need to get to rocking and rolling. And you see I go across from each other. And I bring it down to where it just barely touches. And then I start looking at my gap in between. I try to get it as evenly as possible as I can all the way around. This side I'm sitting low, so I'm gonna back this off some. And tighten this side down some. Do it a little bit more. And a little bit more. That should do it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna snug down across from each other. Then I'm gonna let this start steaming, venting. And once it starts to vent and put out steam, I'm gonna go 10 minutes on it. Once it goes 10 minutes, I'll put my weight on there. I don't know if you can make it out or not, but I've got each one of them numbered. 921, 925. But that's it with the All-American counters. And if you have a Presto, you want to oil the rubber gasket around it, which in my opinion is that rubber gasket goes bad over time. That's why we went with the All-American. Didn't have a gasket to deal with. Same thing with this one.
Sorry about the glare.
Pretty dang close. Same with this, I'm gonna let it vent for 10 minutes once it starts putting steam out. See, this one's already putting steam out. And then I'll start my timer. It's quarts with meat in it, the meat being the beef and the bacon. We'll go 95 minutes on quarts. That's just to make sure everything is safe and everything is good. We'll bring you back when we take everything out of the counters, and we'll see y'all then. Okay, everybody, welcome back. I've got everything coming up to temp. Right now I'm about between 6 and 7 pounds PSI here, and about 6 PSI here. What I'll do is once it comes up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my cooktop. I'll turn the temperature down till this just vibrates once or twice a minute. Same with that one, once or twice a minute. I try to keep my gauge between 10 and 11 pounds. If it drops under 10, I gotta start over. I don't want it to go over 11 because then I'm cooking at too high of a temperature. So I like to keep it between 10 and 11 pounds of PSI. If I'm not mistaken, I think 10 PSI is around 243 degrees. I believe that's right. But I just wanted to show you where we're at and everything. Not only that, I made a mistake and said something a little earlier. I said 95 minutes, 90 minutes. I don't know why I was thinking 95, 75 with pints. 95 came out of my mouth. 90 minutes with quarts. I've got my timer on the stove set for 90 minutes. Once those weights jingle, I'll start the timer and then I'll start playing with my temperature. To keep it between, like I said, to keep it between 10 and 11 PSI. Now I'm going to show you something else. My wife is making what?
It's banana pudding
Drops.
That's going into the freeze dryer.
We'll put this in the freezer first and let it freeze for 24 hours, and then we'll run it in our freeze dryer.
For the grandbaby.
So as you see, we're always doing something around here. We ain't working our business, we're doing this. Mainly we've been working our business though, it just finally slowed down a little bit. There's that. I got one that's fixing to start jingling. There it goes. Start my timer. Then I'll set my timer on my watch with this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start playing with this, get it to slow down, which I know about where it's gotta be because I've been doing this long enough to know exactly where it's gotta be. And it'll settle down in just a second. And right now I'm at 11 PSI. And I don't want it to go any higher than that. I know you can't see me, but I'm here. Now it's starting to slow down on the jingle. I'm gonna get my watch set. Put my timer on it. As soon as that one jingles one time, see I got it set 90 minutes. There it goes. Start the timer on it. And I'm going to turn my heat down on it. Like I said, I've been doing this long enough on this cooktop, I know pretty much where my knob has got to be set at. And make some final adjustments. And that's that. When it's done, I'll come back, we'll take everything out, and we'll show you the finished product. Y'all take care. Hey everyone, well everything has finished.
And everything's sealed already.
Believe it or not, after I took off the the lids to the counters, I cannot talk today. The lids to the counters, all but 5 had already sealed. And I'll be honest with you, the way I do when I do this, when I turn the burners off, I wait for the pressure to drop down to 0, and then I give it about another 30 to 45 minutes before I even remove the weight. Once I do that, then I pull the lids off and I let them sit for about another 30 to 45 minutes in there. Most of the time, they've already sealed by the time I take them out. And believe it or not, I do believe
I think they've all sealed.
they have all sealed.
Yep.
And they have. We didn't lose a single jar. We had one, I don't know which one, but we had one to siphon just a little bit of the juice, and that's not a big deal. That happens. Like I said, I don't know which one. Once they've cooled off for 24 hours, we'll remove the rings. We'll check the lids on them, make sure they are sealed good, and then we'll put everything up. The thing is, what I'm gonna miss the most about this,
All the water's evaporating.
is I'm not gonna be able to give any to my Uncle Mac. Cause like I said, this was his favorite.
It's still bubbling. And there's a lot of times we'll open this and eat this for dinner because it is good for just a meal in its own. So for those of you that are canning to prep for meals, this is one of those that you can just open up, heat up in a pan, and have dinner. This is what we had left.
You weren't supposed to show them that yet, buddy.
I know. But like I said, it's just,
Ooh, well,
it's a meal. And it's good. Everybody wants Uncle Don's famous ranch beans.
a lot of my family had not had any until this past Father's Day. And everybody come up to me and said, those were really good.
And you can make this as sweet as you want to. You can add to it, take away. You don't have to put the bell peppers, onions, if you don't like onions. So this is kind of do how you want to do it. It's yours to do with how you want. Willow, you're in the way.
The only thing that I didn't do that I normally do in my counters, and it's because our water is not real hard water, but it's kind of hard, is I didn't put any white vinegar in my water in the counters, and I normally do. I was just in a hurry and completely forgot about it.
What we do?
So once these jars cool off and everything, we'll clean the jars up, get what little bit of calcium deposit off the lids and stuff. But like I said, right now, every last one of them are sealed. Every one of them are sealed. And we got 12 quarts, a whole case.
And that was using 4 pounds of ground beef or ground chuck. How many
4 pounds of bacon.
4 pounds of
I
bacon.
used about 6, I don't really recall, about 6 small to medium sized bell peppers. And I think I used 4 to 5 small to medium white onion to add to it. And then whatever onion came in those beans. We are gonna learn to do our own baked beans, and when we do that, we're gonna start using our own baked beans
Yes.
to make this.
So we don't have to buy canned beans at the store when you can find them.
Just this year, as we said in the past, has been hectic. We didn't do near the amount of canning that we did last year. Last year we put up, I wanna say it was around 1,300
13 to 1,500 quarts.
quarts and pints and half pints of stuff. Of course, most of the pints and half pints was jams and jellies. but we did do a lot of pints with string beans and purple hull peas, and then a lot of quarts with the same thing. But like I said, this year we just haven't had the time.
And for those of you that don't know, we do a dog boarding business out of our house. So this summer, we were
Excuse me.
averaging about 50 dogs a day. So with our 9 and then taking care of the boarding dogs and daycare dogs, it was, plus the temperatures have been crazy. That's good.
That would just about make you want to slap somebody. It's so good.
So y'all get out and make some of these beans and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to our page, like our videos, comments, tell us what you want to see us can. We're not experts by any means, but we'll do our best.
We've just been doing it for quite some time.
Yeah.
But we're still learning too. That's the whole point of this. We learn from others, they learn from us, different things. And you know, like I said, I showed you earlier, her doing the pudding drops for our freeze dryer, because we ordered the freeze dryer last December. No, end of December or 1st of January, somewhere along in there. And it was 3 months before we got it. We got it, I believe, right after, either right before or right after my mom had the stroke.
Oh, Daddy.
And we started playing with it a little bit then, because at that time it was spring break and our business was way up here. And you know, even that first week my mom was in the hospital, I only got to go up there once. They were allowing us to come in, but we could only, you know, other than the person staying with her all the time, they wouldn't allow anybody else in there until we confronted them with my 93-year-old dad and said that he was going to come see his wife every single day with one of us. And they allowed us to do that, but like I said, we just haven't done that much. We've done a good bit of freeze drying. We played with it. We played with the candies, and we've done some onions. We've done some tomatoes. We've done some cantaloupe, some mushrooms, pineapples, bananas and strawberries. And I'm gonna tell you, the pineapple and the cantaloupe, Lord, that's Wheeler. They're not cheap. They're not for everyone. But if you can ever afford to be able to buy one, get one. It'll be worth your while as far as food person.
Milk, eggs.
I can't even talk. Preserving your food. We've done eggs, which y'all saw that video on the eggs that we did. We've done milk. It's just a good way to preserve food. I still prefer this. Just do.
It is, it's good.
But as far as us, like onions, we can pound that down into powder, make our own onion powder, our own garlic powder, our own
chili powder.
Chili powders, our own
Tomato powder.
Yeah, we got a bunch of tomato powder. Again, I can't talk today. Powder.
That's the weather.
You know, and you know, we can make so much stuff out of what we freeze dry. We're waiting for our cookbook. There's a lady on one of the Facebook pages that has been putting together a cookbook for freeze drying whole meals. So I'm kind of anxious to see that, because that's something that I want to try to get into. But I'm a little chicken right now. I'm a little chicken to try it on my own, in other words, because I don't want to waste not knowing what I'm really doing. But anyway, in a nutshell, this is my famous ranch beans. Try it. Let us know what you think. Like I said, we don't measure anything on this. We do it by taste. We just know that for each two of those cans that we used, 1 pound, no, 2 pounds.
1 pound of hamburger and bacon per 2 big cans of beans.
Yep.
So we did
There
8
you go.
cans.
We had 8 cans, and we used 4 pounds of bacon and 4 pounds of ground chuck, or whatever that was.
Everything else is up to you.
Everything else is literally up to you. I will tell you, we used a bottle and a half in this of the syrup, and I probably used a little over a 1/4 bag of the brown sugar.
And
to get-
taste
to
it
get
as
to
you
our
go.
taste.
If you don't like it that sweet, then, you know.
Like I said, just when you first mix everything up, put just a little bit in. But I will tell you, you want to taste a little bit of the syrup.
Yes. Maple
You
syrup.
want to taste a little bit of the syrup. It really makes it stand out.
It does.
It really does. So until next time, folks,
Y'all be blessed.
be blessed. Try this. Let us know what you think, because we want to know.
Keep on canning.
Keep on canning. Until next time, bye-bye.